Hey, everybody, welcome to Ignited Live. I'm Charity.
And I'm Kathy.
And you might even hear Winnie in the background.
Yeah, Winnie, if you don't know, is the golden doodle.
Yes.
That Charity has right now. Taking care of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yep, that was Winnie.
That was Winnie. She says hello.
Is that what that was?
That
hello?
Was hello.
Oh, no, well, I don't know. What was that one then?
Whale. We're not too
She's
sure.
not wanting to cooperate tonight.
No.
No.
She wants what she wants, you know?
Oh, well, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, she does. Oh, wow.
There, we're back.
We're back.
Okay, that was weird.
So anyways, we visited a church on Sunday morning. Mm-hmm. And it's a good church. And during the preaching part of the service, all of a sudden you see this man walking down the aisle. He has on camouflage pants, a black t-shirt, I think, and a black backpack.
And like combat boots.
Yeah. And he's walking just straight forward, and he heads right down towards the platform.
Right, like he's on a mission.
And then he goes in a side door and he comes around on the other side.
And it looks like, to me, like the ushers are trying to navigate this, you know?
Yes.
And so you see a couple guys like trying to get him clear and then take him to the side room. But the way that particular church is set up is the restrooms are at the front of the building, like where the stage is. So okay, maybe he had to use the restroom. So they kind of follow him and then come out the other side because there's two entrances on both sides. And then he comes out the other side. And I was like, what?
I know it was a little, I don't know, some of it is because of the day we live in, right?
Right.
And you're sitting there and you're observing this man with, camouflage pants and boots on and a black t-shirt and a black backpack.
Yeah.
And I started to get a little nervous.
Right.
But, and I looked at Cher, and finally, I know that at one point I said, what is she doing?
I'm not sure. She may have swallowed something.
She probably swallowed something.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody.
Those noises are not us.
So anyways, at one point, I know I turned to Cher and I said, I think he must be part of the message.
Right.
And right near that point, the pastor said, hey, Junior, what are you doing? And so he called him by his name.
Right.
And Junior said, I'm just trying to walk through life. But he's got this heavy backpack on him. Mm-hmm. And the whole message that the pastor had was on forgiveness. And so he brings Junior up on the platform with him, and another one of the pastors comes over and helps him unload things out of his backpack. Mm-hmm. One of which was bitterness was one. And it was a big rock that they took out. And I thought that had to have been one heavy backpack.
Yeah. Somebody said, I heard one of the ushers say it was 60 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, they were big rocks.
They were big.
Yeah.
They were big. So anyways, one was bitterness, and then there was offenses was another one, and then unforgiveness was another one.
Yeah. Anyways. And each time they took a stone out, they had someone to symbolically be Holy Spirit. Right. To say, are you ready to let this go and let me help you navigate this? And each time he would say, well, carrying this weight hasn't been very easy.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm ready for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, it was a good illustration of when we carry things of like offenses or bitterness or unforgiveness, it is a weight that we carry. Mm-hmm. And I was having a conversation with another leader probably about a week and a half or so ago. And he was talking about the need for forgiveness, and not with him and I, but in another situation. And I just said, well, Bob, my husband, who's now passed on, used to say, carrying unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is true.
Yeah.
Right. And so today I was going through a box and I came across this piece of paper. Bob used to teach a healing school back, a few years ago when he was around. And a lot of it was dealing with the root issues that we can have in our life that cause problems, even in our physical bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And so, bitterness and unforgiveness, those are things that eventually they do affect us. So anyways, I came across this piece of paper that it was just written on, don't nurse it or rehearse it. Give it to God and let him disperse it.
Wow.
And I thought that's really good.
Yeah, it is.
Because when we're hurt or wounded, we want to nurse it, right? Yeah. Or even rehearse it. And it actually causes more pain.
Yeah, it definitely can. I mean, I think there's a time for it, right? For everything. You're not saying you can never talk about it.
Oh, yeah, no.
But it's just the idea that you keep reliving the same thing over and over, like the backpack, carrying it for years and saying, I'm just trying to get through, and not really experiencing freedom because you're constantly reliving and carrying that. Interestingly, they made this public. So, I mean, it was in a public meeting recorded live, but I thought it was pretty cool. The guy Junior that was there
with the backpack
on, who scared me initially.
Yeah. Made us very uncomfortable, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, because, you just hear stories and you think, oh my goodness, how do I respond? Is there any children around me? That was my first thought. Like, what do I do? Who do I help?
You're amazing. You always think about the children.
Well, yeah, I do. But I just kind of assess the situation around me. Like, what could I do? How quickly could I exit? Where are the exits? All the things that, quickly flash in your mind. And then thankfully that wasn't the case.
You would get up and fight, and I would go under the pew.
That's okay. We're all built differently. It's true. In another situation, I'd be frozen and you'll react.
Yeah.
So, or respond, I should say. But anyways, to go back to the story, Junior said to the pastor, why did you pick me? They had this conversation leading up to this service. And the pastor said, because the Lord just brought your face to me. And he said, that's interesting, because lately I've been having a hard time letting go of some things. And I know that God is trying to get me to do that. So the pastor said, well, then let this Sunday be a symbolic moment for you that you really are ready to let those things go. And you could tell that he was ready.
Yeah.
It wasn't just part of the skit. He was genuinely ready. And then he talked about it so openly and excited about the fact that he was able to let that go. And I think, when the scripture says confess to one another, even in that moment, that was like a confession to one another, but it was so uplifting. Because he was ready to make that move. He wasn't wanting to stay or nurse it, or rehearse it.
That's right.
He just wanted to be clear of all of it, and to have a clear heart, and not hold on to something that really isn't his to hold on to.
Yeah, it was a very genuine moment.
It was,
and everybody felt it. There were a lot of people who responded and went to the altar.
Yeah.
And you realize throughout life happens. That's just how it is. But how we respond in situations, and and I go back to, I like what was written down, and I don't know, exactly who wrote it down, but don't nurse it and rehearse it. Give it to God and let him disperse it. And
I think it depends on your personality. Like, for some people, very verbal, right? But for people who are a little bit more introspective, it becomes rehearsing it and nursing it internally.
Right.
And then you just find yourself frustrated and angry, and, and so it manifests in different ways. But I think, like with this gentleman, Junior, he was very verbal.
Right.
And you could tell he's a verbal processor. Yeah. So it was fun to see that. But I know another person in the meeting, because there were so many, probably didn't have that same, but they knew internally that's where they were at.
Yeah. It's interesting, because when I even came across the saying, don't nurse it or rehearse it, I was thinking internally. That's where most of the conflict will happen within us. And I think because I can come into a church service and I can look good,
Sure.
but I can have all this stuff, going on inside of me,
Yeah.
all kinds of.
Well, and I think, we keep hearing this term, keep it real, right?
Yeah.
And I think that there is some measure of truth to that. Like, hey, you know what? I am going to confess right now that I don't want to forgive in a situation. You don't really have to say what it is, but
Right.
I'm choosing to do that.
Yeah.
And, as you do that with one another, keeping it real, it opens you up to not having to hold it yourself.
Right.
That other people can pray for you and encourage you that, yeah, you can do this. I mean, that's really what happened in the room. It was really cool.
It was a very, very cool few moments there in the service. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for many of you, that Charity just celebrated her birthday.
I did.
And she had a great, great birthday. Lots of love expressed to you, didn't you?
I did. It was really sweet. There was so many messages on Facebook, email, text messages, cards in the mail, surprises in the mail. I got a few surprises. I was like, wow, this is amazing. One surprise was, I'm just going to tell on myself. I like to give socks, right? Whatever. So my niece surprised me and decided I didn't need to buy socks for a whole year. So she got me a lot of socks. So that was a fun surprise. Oh, Winnie came up to say hi.
Came up to say hi, I guess. Okay.
All right, girl.
And she does have a red bow in her hair
for Valentine's.
She's getting ready.
Yeah.
Well, this morning I got up early and I went downstairs and just, are you letting her?
No, I'm trying to come get her something.
Oh, you're trying to get her something.
Yes, I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So anyways, I came downstairs and I love my mornings, just, sitting and talking to the Lord. And there was, I had a specific request this morning and just something that I needed or we needed. And then after a while, Charity came downstairs with Winnie and I was telling them, this is what I'm asking the Lord for, that today we get a miracle. And do you know, a miracle came today? Is she okay?
I think so. I'm just going to go check again.
And I went to the mailbox and there was this surprise that was, I couldn't believe it. And it just, I don't know, brought me back to that place of something that I said last week, finding things to be grateful for. And I keep practicing that, as I know we all do, every day, finding things to be grateful for. Like today, I'm even grateful for Winnie, who is wanting to, I don't know, get all kinds of attention, I guess. But anyways, the miracle happened today, and I've told God over and over, thank you for hearing. Yeah. Thank you for putting on somebody's heart. And it was cool.
It was very cool.
Yep. You think she's okay?
I think so.
Okay.
We'll see.
Well, anyways, as we minister here on Ignited's platform, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, we are speaking to the person who is joining us on one of those platforms. We may not know you personally. We may not even know your name, but we are asking the Lord to speak to those of you who are personally connecting with us on one of those platforms. And please remember to put your name in and where you're from. We all really do enjoy seeing the different locations. And I'm always impressed with God at how he joins us together. And I know that it's just the right people that need to be together tonight.
Yeah. Also, if you haven't gone to our website, ignitedministries.org, where you can sign up to be on our email list, you can hit the Give tab, or you can hit the Resource tab. And there are books there, such as my mom's dream book, her prophetic Getting to Know the Voice of God for Adults and Children. And then you'll also find some of my dad's books there on freedom from. So he has a bunch of categories there too.
Dreams are so, I believe, important today. Like I was sharing, I think a couple weekends ago, Randy and Julie were here, and I was sharing this dream that I had where I was outside, or Charity and I were both outside with Winnie, and these two terrier dogs came, and they were with their owner, but I knew that those dogs were dangerous. And so I said, we just need to go inside. And so we came inside and the dogs left. That very next morning, I've told the dream to Charity. And in the news pops a story of a 2-year-old that had been mauled to death by these two terriers. And I remember just like, oh my goodness, I just dreamt about these two dogs last night. Now there's a 2-year-old that is mauled to death by them. And the Lord just spoke to me that we have to really pay attention to what our dreams are. It's not to bring fear, but it is to help us understand we need to use the gift of discernment. And it's knowing that if you don't feel right in one location, then you just move on. Right. So
and
dreams
also
are
to
important.
pray protection over people.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a horrible situation.
Yeah, it was horrible. That's right. Yeah. All right. Are you ready?
And I did see Denise Lyon said, I have a lot of dreams and I write them down, which I believe that is very important. Sometimes dreams are for a later date and you might recall them later and know what the meaning is. And someone else, and I missed it, said that they had a dream within a dream.
Oh yeah, those are good.
Yeah. So what does that mean? If you have a dream within a dream?
Well, it's a dream that becomes very important and you need to pay attention to. So God's emphasizing it to you. It's kind of like the simplified term for it. But I was thinking as we were just talking about dreams, I believe by March, somewhere in March, I'll finish a class that I'm taking mid-March, towards the end of March, somewhere in there, that I think I'm going to begin a Take Two Tuesday. On Tuesdays at right around 4 p.m. Start a group, and we can talk about dreams, things like that.
So you're saying you're taking a course right now online.
Yes.
Once that's completed.
Yes, once that's completed. Yeah, I can do it while I'm taking this course. It's too intense.
Yeah. You probably could.
I could.
But you're choosing to wait, which is probably wisdom.
Thanks, Charity.
No problem.
Yes, thank you. But I do love dreams, and you really have a gift to interpret.
I enjoy dreams, I think, probably more than, well, I wouldn't say more than you, but I do like them a lot. I was talking with one of my brothers and he told me a dream and he said, I don't think it means anything. He told me the dream and I'm like, oh, well, it means XYZ. It just comes to me sometimes, like right in the moment. And he's like, wow, you're really good. That was like right what happened to me yesterday. And I wouldn't have pieced that together. But then there's other dreams that it takes me a little bit of time. And I like to talk with the person because for example, a hummingbird could mean one thing to me, but somebody who's dreaming about it, it might mean something completely different. So I don't like to just say hummingbirds always mean,
right.
I like to really talk things out and make sure I understand.
That's why you need to get my book. I talk about that.
Yeah. That it's not just a one and done formula. You really need to understand. No. And like your book says, it has to make sense to the dreamer. Right. So someone giving an interpretation, it doesn't. We're back.
We're back. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened either.
But we need to call Elon Musk.
Yeah, apparently.
The satellite must not be working right.
Something.
It's something, but you really do have a gift.
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot. But I think your dream book helps me navigate through and not feel pressure to like always look things up the way that maybe traditionally some people would.
Well, yeah,
it's not that I don't use resources outside
right.
of that, but a lot of it is really simply listening and hearing and just seeking the Lord in the moment.
Yeah. And, it's like Daniel said, God will give an interpretation.
Right.
And that's important. But I think that sometimes we can fall into a trap of going for a dream vocabulary book where this is what it always means. And that's not true.
Right. And those resources are great.
Yes.
They help bring guidance. But I think, like in your book, you might have a list of some things that could be,
Yes.
you know, some
It helps
helpful
us. You
hints.
need a think tank.
Right. But
Right.
it's not, I like the way that you've expressed. It's not just a one formula, one size fits all.
No.
It really needs to be prayed through. And anyway, so if you don't have the book, go get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Don't forget, it's at ignitedministries.org. Go to the resource, Interpreting Dreams. You'll find it on Amazon, and it ships out pretty fast.
Yeah, it does.
Mhm.
I had a dream a couple nights ago where I had given a prophetic word to someone about a new vehicle coming to them.
Mhm.
And it was by, a few nights later, the husband and wife were in the meeting that I was in, and he just publicly said that never happened. She never got her new vehicle. And here she is crying. And so I just said publicly, because he did it publicly, I don't recall giving a time frame on it, but I'm very sorry for the way that you feel about it and the disappointment that you feel.
Mm.
And it was right after that someone handed her a letter, and her eyes got big, and she looked at me, and I knew she was being given a new vehicle.
Mm.
And so I thought, we have to be, it's one of the things I'll probably use in teaching is dreams will help us understand that we have to not put like time limits and things on what God is not saying.
Right.
Right. And so we have to be careful.
Yeah, that's a good point, because
Mhm.
we might be asking God about a specific thing. He might be giving an answer, but he didn't give a specific time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. You ready there?
Ready, set, go.
Okay. I just saw Janishka from Puerto Rico. All right, Janishka. There's a lot of creativity in you and ideas and ways of doing things that's a little bit outside the box. And the Lord has put that in you. And sometimes you can almost feel a bit of a frustration because you're not expressing all of what's in you. And I really see the Lord opening up the way ahead for you to find that groove, so to speak, and get into the flow of the gift that God's put in you.
Vicky Samar says, we remember Pastor Bob saying, don't nurse it or rehearse it, give it to God.
Who said that?
Vicky Samar.
Ah,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Don't nurse it or rehearse it.
Yeah.
Give it to God and let him disperse it.
Yep.
Sometimes that's easier said than done, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. And then I saw Denise Lyons on YouTube. Denise, I just had a sense for you that the Lord is causing you to be reminded of the promises that he has spoken to you, and that he's not a man that he would lie. And as you continue to say, I trust you, I trust the timing, I trust what you're doing, it's like step by step, I see you gaining more strength, more momentum, more understanding of who he is and what he's accomplishing on the inside of you, and that nothing is wasted in his kingdom.
That's right. Kimberly Gowdy Segroy, I think, from Syracuse, New York. Hopefully I said all of that right, Kimberly. I see joy all around you, almost an expectation that's in you that you know something good is about to happen, like you're right on the brink of a breakthrough. And God has given you so many promises, and you believe God and you trust him, even though in the moment you may not see what God has spoken, but you can feel that joy and that excitement because you trust God and you believe God. There's a point in Genesis where God said, shall I hide from Abraham what I'm doing? And he goes on to say, for I have known him, in order that he may command his children and his household after him, that they keep the way of the Lord. that is a passion within you, is to keep the way of the Lord. And so God reveals promises and secrets to you.
All right. Lorraine Wright said, I love your new hair, Kathy.
Oh,
yes.
I just had a full day and I was thinking I didn't really do anything. Yeah,
well, your hair's
thank you,
up.
Lorraine.
It does look
thank
nice.
you.
Yeah. And then Christina from Tokyo is on Facebook. Christina, I saw you struggling with some things, almost like feeling like you're treading water, but coming to a place of knowing that you're not just treading water, but you're gaining ground, and that the Lord is with you. He's for you. He is your great redeemer. And even what the enemy meant for evil against you, God can work it for your good. And so as you say, even by faith, some of the things that he's spoken to you is like it's going to stir you afresh to know that nothing is impossible for him.
Okay, so you were hearing Winnie again.
Yes, it's not us.
She is wanting to play.
She does.
I think we're going to have to start grading her
We
during
might.
Missy. Yes.
Yeah, for a little while she did really great, just laid here, but then suddenly she has discovered that she can, yes.
All right, so Debbie Roberts in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I still love saying Chattanooga. There's something about it. Debbie, I don't know fully what God is intending with this, but I see like the whole state of Tennessee just lit up with flames of revival. And I really believe there's something of a fresh wind of the Spirit that's going to blow into your state. And God will fulfill the things that he has spoken into your life and into the state. And I feel like what he's doing right now is injecting you with such hope for the days ahead. It's going to be good, and you'll see the hand of God working miracles. Okay, let me see. So Kenza said, Charity taught me when I have the same dream over and over, the Lord is trying to give me a message and I'm not catching it. And that's often very true when you have a dream that just is recurring. There's probably something that God is wanting to reveal to you, and you may not be catching it. That is a good point to be made. Sometimes we need to have the dream over and over, depending on what it is, to build faith in us. And so it really is dependent upon the dream itself and how you're feeling in the dream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. True story.
Yeah.
All right, Erica D on YouTube. Erica, I just had a sense for you that the Lord is wanting you to know that he can restore, and that there's something about, don't grow weary in well doing. And you know that. And yet in this season, it's felt like there's been almost like that feeling of isolation and feeling as though you've been depleted in some things. But I see the Lord doing a work within you of greater healing, and that he is the lifter of your head.
Maggie in South Jersey. Maggie, there is a real nurturing gift within you. It's a gift that God has put in you to care for others, and you do deeply care for others. I see God touching even your hands, so that when you lay hands on people, healing flows. And it's not that you don't already know that, but there is a deeper level of faith and believing God for healing and miracles that's flowing through you.
All right, Felice Hannah in Rutherford, New Jersey.
Rutherford.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
We've been there. Felice, I just had a sense for you that there is a fresh sense of creativity and being able to be decisive in decisions, not feeling as though there's all these little loose ends and things that need to come together, but really feeling like things are collectively coming together. And it's almost like a domino effect, things, one thing after the other, really falling into place, and you knowing that his favor, his blessing upon your life is evident, and learning to walk that out by faith and knowing that he is with you and he's for you. And then I saw Mick Kruger on YouTube from Texas. Mick, I just had a sense for you that the best really is yet to come. And there are some things that you've wanted to just kind of pull the reins back on, but I see you charging forward. And, there's a scripture that talks about set your face like flint. And there's something the Lord's doing right now, and he's causing you to be strengthened in the spirit.
Okay. Steve Roberts in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Steve, I see you just growing taller and taller. And that usually, for me, what the Lord is showing me is there's a real teaching gift in you, a gift to instruct others. And I see that coming to a new level. A new confidence is being deposited in you. And one thing that I love, Winston Churchill said it, and it's a quote, never, never, never give up. And I feel like that's the word of the Lord for you. Never, never, never give up.
Yeah. And that's actually Christy Murado said for her son. I'm not sure how you say his name in Japan, but Ryu maybe. But I felt that same as soon as you said never, never give up. I just felt that for your son as well, that never, never, never give up.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, we want to thank you all so much for joining us here on our live, including Winnie.
Yeah, including Winnie.
She might have been a little bit of the star of the show today.
Yeah, I think she was.
Or at least she was trying. Anyway, we love you guys very much. Yeah. And once you finish the class, which you said is in mid-March?
Mid to end of March, depending on when I finish all the projects.
So once all those projects are completed, we'll be sending out an email. So if you're not on the email list, make sure you get there so you can find out when these fun Zoom events are going to happen, which means turn on your camera. You're going to get to see everybody. So it's not just one-sided.
Yeah, that'll be one of the requirements. You have to be able to be on Zoom.
Yeah. Yep. Like video, you mean?
Video.
Okay,
yes,
because anybody can download Zoom, but I think I knew what you meant.
Thank you.
So that you could see everyone and then participate. Yes. Well, it's not like taking a class like how I just did.
No.
Where you don't really have to turn on your video, but you can be present for the Zoom. So anyways, you'll see all the fun details coming soon.
Yes.
We love you guys, and we will see you, Lord willing, same time, same place next week.
God bless you.
See you next time.